China is making a very strong inroad into not only in the whole world, but also into Latin America and the Caribbean. For many, many years, the CCPIT has been doing organizing the China, Latin America, and Caribbean conferences, 1 year in China, 1 year in a Latin American country. China, for example, in Brazil, China has invested over $100 billion, which really helps very much the Brazilian economy, especially in this crisis that Brazil is going through. A few years ago, I wrote an article for the World Policy Institute of New York, where I alluded to the fact that the backyard of the United States is growing a Chinese garden. And the backyard, which is Latin America and the Caribbean, they are growing a Chinese garden because the Chinese trade and investment is really helping many, many countries in the region develop and build the infrastructure that they need to develop. And for example, in the same way, China has transformed Africa from a lost continent with its resources stripped by its former colonial masters into a continent of hope, where the fastest growing countries in the world in the last few years have been African countries where China invested heavily into their infrastructure. And the same is happening in many, many Latin American and Caribbean countries. Whereas many of the countries in the Caribbean and Central America and even in South America, some of the countries don't recognize China, they are also all having second thoughts and will probably follow the lead of Panama.